What is going on YouTube? It is RandyTalksMets in the building, and this video is going to be about Luis Rojas and the New York Mets and him getting fired from the New York Mets, to be honest, and losing his job. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into why. We're going to get into, is this a good decision for the New York Mets? We're going to get into it, but leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, this is Randy Talks Mets. We talk Mets content. We talk Mets baseball. We talk baseball in general. So if you like baseball, if you like me, leave a like, comment, subscribe. But let's get right into the video, to be honest, guys. Luis Rojas, the Mets did not have a good season last year. They had a terrible season, and there was supposed to be a lot of changes, a whole new owner. It was supposed to be a lot of changes, a lot of things supposed to be positive for the New York Mets. And I'm not gonna lie, it really looked like that for a little bit, to be honest, with the offseason of getting Francisco Lindor $341 million, giving him a 10-year contract, getting him in the trade with Ahmed Rosario and what's his name? Yeah, Ahmed Rosario and the other guy. I really forgot his name. That's how irrelevant he was this season. Andres Jimenez. Sorry. Andres Jimenez was one of the good prospects for the New York Mets. He was a shortstop. He looked like he had a future with the New York Mets. But the Mets just didn't see a future with him. And it's understandable because, the guy, he looked like he could. His defense was okay. His defense was actually really good. But his offense, it didn't look like he was going to be a Francisco Lindor type or a really, with so many shortstops coming to the free agency, I'm just not surprised that Francisco Lindor came to the Mets. But yeah, they signed him for a 10-year contract. Then they got James McCann, a catcher. They really needed a catcher, and they got James McCann, a guy that was basically a part-time catcher for the White Sox, and he didn't really do much for the White Sox. You know, he wasn't a full-time catcher, and the Mets signed him for 4 years. So you can just think about it like that. James McCann coming to the New York Mets, Francisco Lindor coming to the New York Mets, Jeff McNeil coming back for another season, Michael Conforto coming back for his last season. It looked like it was going to be a good season for the New York Mets. It looked like there was going to be a lot of positives. I'm not going to lie. Dominic Smith also had a great season last season, and he looked like he was going to have another good season this season. But this season was completely different from last season, guys, because last season was 60 games. So this season, it was back to the 162. So it's a whole different ball game, guys, to be honest. That's a whole different ball game. You can't really count last season, to be honest. And Pete Alonso also did not have a good season last season. But this season definitely picked it up more. But let's get into basically Luis Rojas as a manager. Luis Rojas, we know that he didn't get to the playoffs last year. And it was an expanded playoffs. So it was even more of a chance to get to the playoffs. And it just didn't happen. So then, Luis Rojas, this year, you know what I'm saying, he had his team first place in a terrible division, but he had his team at first place, guys. The Mets, New York Mets, were in first place for, I think, 114 days, something like that, or 104. They were in first place for most of the season. Now I would say Luis Rojas, I'm not gonna lie, the first half of managing the New York Mets, he looked okay. You know what I'm saying? He looked like he kind of knew what he was doing in a way, or he was getting a feel for it, but it didn't happen. What is it called? Because at the second half, the New York Mets just collapsed, guys. Luis Rojas started making terrible decisions, questionable decisions. We just don't even know what Luis Rojas was thinking in his head. Oh, like there's certain decisions like that he did in the second half of the season, like pitching to Bryce Harper, like pitching to people who were hot and you could have walked them, and it cost you the game. And it's just Luis Rojas made a lot of bad decisions in the second half. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Luis Rojas comes from a family of Moises Alou, the Alou family, Alao family, something like that. But that's where he comes from, guys. So he comes from a baseball family. This was his first real professional season as a big league manager. So it was gonna be hard from the get go. And I'm not gonna lie, like I said, Luis Rojas made a lot of questionable mistakes, a lot of questionable decisions, but overall, Luis Rojas getting fired by the New York Mets, not surprising, because the Mets 2021 season, they went 77 and 85, so they didn't even go 500. They were like what, third or fourth place? I think third place. Yeah, guys, this was a very disappointing season for the New York Mets. But I'm gonna get into why it was disappointing. So obviously, Francisco Lindor coming with the $341 million, coming to a new city. He signed 10 years. You got James McCann coming to a new city as well. You got Jacob deGrom. You got Noah Syndergaard trying to come back. You got David Peterson, a rookie that's trying to come back and have another good season. But like I said last season, you cannot count last season because it was just tough. It was not the real 162 that baseball is. That's what makes baseball different and long as hell. But still, Luis Rojas had a lot going for him in the first half. Then a lot of things happened, guys. The Mets were in first place, but Taijuan Walker was an all-star. It was really cool. You know what I'm saying? It was really, really cool. It looked like the Mets were going to get to that next level. Well, not to the next level, but it looked like the Mets were going to stay in first place. But then, guys, the offense never picked up for this team. They never clicked as a team. And I'm going to tell you this, guys. As a team, they never clicked. As individuals, they clicked once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Francisco Lindor will have his little hits. Pete Alonso is the best New York Met in 2021. He had a really good season, guys. Pete Alonso, if the Mets would have had Francisco Lindor hitting 30 home runs hitting for 300 average, it would have been better for the New York Mets. But it didn't happen. Francisco Lindor hit 230 or 220 something, and he hit 20 home runs. He was injured for like almost a month, I think. It was bad, guys. At an important time. Jacob deGrom got injured at an important time. Noah Syndergaard came back at the late September to have a couple of starts for a couple of innings. That's it. Marcus Stroman had a good season. Marcus Stroman was the most consistent pitcher in the New York Mets. Well, not Jacob deGrom, because we can't really count Jacob deGrom because of his health, guys. So that's why I'm saying Marcus Stroman was the most consistent pitcher for the New York Mets. But guys, Luis Rojas, he wasn't the worst manager in the world, but the thing is, he doesn't have the experience of being a manager. So I don't feel personally that he is the right manager for the New York Mets. So firing him, I think, was the right decision, because he just you could have waited. You could have said, okay, we're going to take a chance on Rojas. We're going to let him grow as a manager. But the thing is, it's New York, guys. New York. It's the New York Mets. They want to win now. Now. They don't want to win 7 years from now. They want to win right now. They want to win the World Series. They haven't won the World Series since 1986. You know what I'm saying? So they need to win now, and they need to win soon. Especially the new owner giving the 5 year, oh, we need to win the World Series in 5 years. I would like to win the World Series. When the media sees that the owner wants to win the World Series in 5 years, you know what I'm saying? That shows that the owner wants to win now. 5 years, they want to win now. Luis Rojas just couldn't do the job, guys. He was a young manager. Like I said, he wasn't experienced. But I'm not going to lie to you. It's not all Luis Rojas' fault. Like I said, the offense was terrible. Jeff McNeil, a terrible season. Never clicked. Pete Alonso, pretty good season. Comeback, hit 37 home runs. He did what he was supposed to do. Francisco Lindor, like I told you, he hit 220 or 230 something with 20 home runs. Disappointing. Awful. James McCann. I don't even want to talk about James McCann. He had a terrible season, guys. His defense was good. And that was a change for the New York Mets. The defense was good. But the catching and the offense was just terrible for James McCann. Dominic Smith had a terrible year. Guys, if all these individuals are having a terrible year, how do you expect to win as a team? You just can't. It just couldn't be done. It wasn't going to happen. And it didn't happen. The Mets went 77-85 and were in third place in the bad division. Now, like I said, this was the right decision for the New York Mets. But the New York Mets, I feel, have so many issues internally in their headquarters, in their ownership, in the team, guys. How many times has they told you, "Oh, this is not a serious injury. This will be just 2 weeks." And then Jacob deGrom gets shut down for 2 months. I feel like there's really a big problem, guys, with the ownership. Not Steve Cohen, because Steve Cohen is not the biggest issue. He's a rich guy who has money and loves the Mets and loves the team and loves New York. So he's not the issue. It's it's I don't know. It's really, they just, I don't know if they're behind in the way they look at everything with the health. But guys, they look like they never know what's going on with their players. Jacob deGrom thinks he's his own doctor. So he can go out there whenever he wants. If he feels good, he's going to go out there. I just feel, guys, this is a big problem. The team doesn't even have a president of operations. The team doesn't even have a GM. Sandy Alderson is not your GM. Sandy Alderson is not your president of operations. Zach Scott is not your president. He's not your GM. So like I said, guys, if you really think about it, the Mets have so many issues. And hopefully in the offseason, they start to figure it out. Hopefully they start to figure it out. They started with the Luis Rojas firing. And apparently recently in reports, everybody is turning on each other. Aaron Loop is saying there wasn't enough leadership. Francisco Lindor didn't look like a leader. Pete Alonso didn't look like a leader. Michael Conforto, and I'm just going to tell you, Michael Conforto, we already know he had a terrible season. A terrible season. So, like I said, the Mets have so many issues to make. So many decisions to make. But guys, I just feel like I'm ranting here, but I just want to tell you guys, what I think about the Luis Rojas situation, what I think about the Mets, just the state of the team right now. And yeah, guys, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I really like this video. I got to talk to you guys about the Mets. I got to go a little in depth about it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. But like I said, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Definitely have more videos coming out soon. I have a Javier Baez videos coming out soon, a Michael Conforto video coming out soon. So have a good one, guys, and let's go Mets always.